Heathrow's third runway plan has been labelled desperate amid Labour divisions. We're going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline that Heathrow's third runway plan has been labelled desperate amid Labour divisions. Rachel Reeves hopes the expansion will increase economic growth, but Ed Miliband and Sadiq Khan both oppose it. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. This is a story that will never go away. It is one that I really, really wish they really would stop emphasising this. And I don't mean the story itself. I mean those who are continuously pushing for that third runway when they know those who are in favour of a third runway, those who are supporting it, know that it is bad for the environment. It increases emissions. It's bad. It's not good for climate in terms of our wanting to reduce our CO emissions. Everyone knows that. But to label it as an economic growth, you can make all the arguments you want about economic growth in this sort of thing, but this really is a means of saying, look, our country needs more growth. We need growth. We need growth. Once we sort out growth, then we'll sort out the green plan. And it's just like, yeah, but you've already built the third runway by then. You know, we're already full of smog and gas now, the country. Oh, we're already going to have the Siberian Ice Age coming over us at some point as well. I mean, come on. We do not need this third runway. We do not. I really, really wish people would stop talking about this and stop trying to bring it up. And I'm glad that there are people within Labour that oppose it. Of course, Rachel Reeves is in favour of it because it means more economic growth. The question is will Labour approve it? And my hope is that they don't. I hope that they're smart enough not to realise that we don't need this. There are other ways that we can increase growth without the means of increasing a third runway. But this is a conversation that has been rattled on for a while, and it was hard enough, during the 14 years of Conservatives who had been really pushing. There have been those in Conservatives. You know, there were even divisions within the Conservative government over the 14 years for a third runway. You know, and when that didn't get shot down, they tried to look at a second runway for Gatwick. I believe it was Gatwick Airport. Yeah, they looked at as well, and that got shot down by good people as well. So we managed to stop an expansion of Heathrow third runway throughout those 14 years of Conservative. Yes, I know there was an assessment and whatnot during that period as well. But we are wasting money and time on this talk. And for me, I know people don't want to make this comparison, but can we just leave it dead and buried, just like the Rwanda deal? Can we leave this alone? No. Businesses just cannot shut up because they are more interested in making money than about the environment. Well, here's the thing. If the planet is cooked and boiled to smithereens, there won't be any money because guess what? We'll be dead. So we really need to stop this talk about third runway. We don't need it. We don't need it. We really don't need it. And the people that live at the airport, around the airport, they put up with enough as it is. And we don't even think about the residents here. Everybody thinks about the bigger picture. Well, I'm thinking about the climate because guess what? That actually matters. This one is just really annoying. So a report we plan to approve a third runway at Heathrow. An expansion of Gatwick and Luton airports have been labelled desperate as the chancellor, Rachel Reeves, faces opposition. Oh, let me stop that. Faces opposition from within Labour to the decision. Reeves is poised to make a swathe of announcements intending to increase economic growth in a speech later this month, including giving the green light to airport expansion. The protesters will be out in force, and I hope we can stop this. The long-mooted plan to build a third runway at Heathrow, which is Britain's biggest airport, is expected to be approved by Reeves, along with bringing a second strip at Gatwick to becoming full-time use to increase the capacity at Luton, according to Bloomberg. That's bad. The Chancellor has been searching for policies that will turbocharge growth, predicted to be 1.6% this year, and she also searches for deep spending cuts to make up for a rise in borrowing costs and a dip in the pound earlier this month. How exactly are we going to commit to our climate agreements when we're increasing our airport capacity? This doesn't make logical sense. Reeves expects to make the decision to allow Heathrow's expansion, despite opposition from the Energy Secretary Ed Miliband, who is understood to be against the plans, who have long been opposed by Green campaigners. Miliband is responsible for keeping the UK within its carbon budget, the amount of carbon the country can afford to emit, while still having the chance to meet net zero emissions by 2050. It was supposed to be 2030, by the way. The seventh such budget is coming out this spring, written by the Climate Change Committee, which has previously decreed that there should be no net airport expansions unless the carbon intensity of aviation is outperforming the government's emissions reduction pathway and can accommodate the additional demand, which it will not. It will not. They will argue that it will. They will try to make an argument that we can make this happen while also keeping to our climate agreements and targets. This is the argument that Reeves will try to make to us. But let's be very real. They're not going to do that. Reeves also faces an opposition to the decision from London's Mayor Sadiq Khan. Spokesperson for Khan told The Guardian the Mayor is a long-standing opposition to airport expansion around London, linked to negative impact on air quality, noise and London's ability to reach net zero by 2030. The move will also be unpopular with many backbenchers, both those with constituencies near the airport and those who campaign on climate action. Clive Lewis, the MP for Norwich South, said the CCC has called for no net airport expansion in the UK. That's because it's completely incompatible with the government's own net zero strategy. Yeah, you cannot have it both ways, Rachel Reeves. You can't. If these airport expansions go ahead, then it looks increasingly like the Treasury is putting growth above all else, including our climate and nature commitments. It may or may not squeeze out some aesthetic GDP growth, but it will most definitely come at a terrible cost to the environment and this government's increasingly shaky record on it. Doug Parr, the policy director at Greenpeace UK, saying resurrecting the idea of a third runway at Heathrow in the hopes that a strip of tarmac will nudge up the UK's GDP smacks of desperation. The economic benefits are dubious at best, while the environmental costs in climate change, noise and air pollution are certain. Experts' analysis has shown that the uptick in air travel over the last few years has failed to boost UK productivity or GDP growth, while business journeys by plane are in long-term decline. Reeves expects to argue that the government is bringing in a sustainable aviation fuel (SAF) mandate that will require planes to use greener fuels. With 2% of total jet fuel to be SAF by the end of the year, this will offset any expansion. Yeah, I told you they're going to look for loopholes. Other mooted growth boosting schemes including the Lower Thames Crossing Road Tunnel and a Universal Studios theme park near London. The Chancellor has long supported a third runway at Heathrow, voting for it in 2018 while the Prime Minister Keir Starmer voted against. The Treasury and Department of Energy Security and Net Zero have been contacted for comment. Yeah, this is definitely something that's going to be clashing for sure. I hope she doesn't get her way on this. I really hope not. And she's forced to look elsewhere for growth. But yeah, this must be taken on. Those within government must take this on. I would like to think that Keir Starmer would not be swayed to go with the third runway. Like the thing is what the Chancellor will try to do to try and argue this is that she will try to work with Ed Miliband and those who are against it to basically say, well, there are other ways we can reduce emissions. Let's do this instead. Let's do this to counter this, or let's do this to counter this. She will look at other ways to try and give a reasonable excuse to be able to approve these third runways without even thinking about the climate agreements that we have. That is what she's going to try and do. She's going to try and get around this one way or another. I hope that Green campaigners are ready to fight this, and I hope Ed Miliband sticks to his guns, and I hope Sadiq Khan does everything he can as London Mayor to stop any kind of expansion for these runways as well, because it's not in the interest of anyone, these, apart from the rich, the wealthy, the big businesses, and so-called tiny bit of growth, which is not going to make the biggest of difference. And I do agree, comes across as smacks of desperation, in my view. But maybe you disagree. Maybe what do you honestly think? Do you think that perhaps we need a third runway at Heathrow Airport? If you do, what is your reasons for it? Is it just because for growth, for the economy? Is that the main reasons? And obviously, I know I'll have my fair share of climate deniers in the comments, which is fine. You can stick your head in the sand on that one. But let me know your thoughts and more on this story down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative or helpful to you, please hit that like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, further support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.